Hey everybody, this is Rykard here again, back with another black and white Pokemon analysis. Today, we're going to be discussing the Monster Fox Pokemon known as Zoroark. So let's get started by taking a look at its typing, abilities, and stats. So first off, Zoroark is a mono dark type Pokemon, meaning that it has standard dark type weaknesses and resistances, so nothing particularly special is going on with its typing. As for its ability though, it's a fairly unique ability that Zoroark is the only Pokemon that gets it, and this ability was released as soon as this game was announced, and this Pokemon was actually one of the first Pokemon released as well. But basically, Illusion is an ability that allows you to appear as the Pokemon of the last Pokemon in your party. So whatever you have in the 6th slot of your party is what Zoroark will appear as when it comes out. So if Zoroark is the last Pokemon in its party, then it'll appear as if it is itself. But if it's anything else, it pretty much masks itself and becomes whatever is in your party in the last slot. This ability has a lot of different uses, mainly though for tricking your opponent into thinking that you are something you're not, and switching to something else that might counter whatever you appear to be, and then taking that Pokemon out because you aren't what you appear to be. And this is just like a fun mind game you can use with against your opponent so that they can just keep guessing on whether or not your Pokemon is a Zoroark or the actual thing. One bad thing about this though is that it does reveal another Pokemon on your team, but it also makes it so that your opponent really never knows what it's up against if you can keep Zoroark at a decently high health. So that's a really cool thing and allows Zoroark to be one of the most surprising Pokemon that you can get in the game because of the fact that it can be anything and you won't even know it. As for its stats though, it has pretty weak defenses with only 60 HP, 60 defense, and 60 special defense. So really not a lot is going on in its ability to take hits from your opponent, and because of this, it's fairly frail. On the other side, though, it is a great attacking Pokemon because of its 105 physical attack, 120 special attack, and 105 speed, meaning that this Pokemon will be very fast and can attack effectively from either the physical or special side. It's really up to you which one you want to choose, but since the special attacking stat is higher, people generally have been going with special sets for Zoroark. But either one works well, and you can see that this Pokemon can be very powerful and be very fast at the same time, which is always a potential threat against any opponent that you may be facing, which is great. But with that, let's take a look at a couple of sets for this Pokemon to use. So this first set is going to be characteristic of what I think would make a pretty good lead Zoroark, and putting Zoroark as your lead is generally the thing to do because of the fact that you can pretty much surprise your opponent right off the bat by having a Pokemon that isn't actually out there, or that appears to be out there to them, and thus allowing you to gain a strong advantage as soon as the match starts. As for the nature, we're going to give it a naive nature to increase its speed but lower its special defense. And the ability obviously will be illusion since it is the only ability that Zoroark gets. As for the EVs, we're going to go into HP to give you one more point for that. 252 into special attack to give you your max special attack. 252 into speed to give you your max speed possible. As for the item, we're going to be using a Focus Sash to always allow us to survive at least one attack from your opponent, and chances are you'll be hit down to that sash due to the fact that Zoroark has low HP and low defenses. As for the moves, the first one we're going to make use of is Taunt, which is a move that prevents your opponent from using any non-attacking moves, which is always great in a lead position, especially if your opponent wants to try and set up rocks or something like that, which means that they won't be able to after the taunt. And since Zoroark is pretty fast, it probably will have a chance to get off a taunt on your opponent, thus giving you kind of an early advantage. Up next we have Zoroark's signature move, known as Night Burst, which is an 85 base power special dark move with 95% accuracy, and it also has a chance of lowering your opponent's accuracy. Now, the thing about using this move is the fact that as soon as you use it, everybody knows that you're Zoroark because Zoroark is the only Pokemon that can learn Night Burst. But in this situation where you're a lead, you want to be able to do as much damage with your stab moves as possible. so Night Burst is the option to go with, even though it reveals what you are. Up next, we have Counter to potentially or to significantly hurt any leads that we come across that are physical attackers. So Counter is great because of the fact that it'll deal double the damage back that you receive, and or if it's physical, and then potentially take them out or take them to their focus sash if they're sashed as well. And in that situation, you have two options. You can either U-turn out to save Zoroark for later if you want to use it to just as a switch in to allow you to get a safe switch in on the next turn if there are rocks up, or you could use Sucker Punch as a way to have priority and take out the opponent if it tries to attack you on the next turn after you've either took it down really far with Night Burst or with Counter. Personally, I would go with Sucker Punch just because of the fact that you know you can get a KO, but a lot of people also like U-turn because of the fact that you can save it for later. But that's pretty much it for this lead set. Up next, we have a mixed set for Zoroark. So we're again going to be using a Naive Nature to increase our speed but lower its special defense, and using the ability Illusion again. As for the EVs, this time we're going to put 96 into physical attack to give you a nice boost to your physical attack, 160 into special attack to also give you a pretty good boost into that stat, and then 252 EVs into speed to max that out. And since in this set we're going to be trying to do as much damage against our opponent as possible, we're going to be making use of a Life Orb to increase that damage. As for the moves, since this is a mix set and we are running higher EVs into our special attack, which is naturally higher as well, we're going to make use of a move that will increase our physical attack, which will be Claw Sharpen. And another great aspect of this move is that it also increases your accuracy, so that allows a move like Focus Blast to hit more often even though it only has 70% accuracy. So Claw Sharpen is a great move in this set to allow you to increase your physical attack and allow your other moves to hit more often because of the accuracy boost. Along with this, we have Flamethrower, which is an awesome move that Zoroark can learn for whatever reason, but it's great and allows it to deal fire damage to things that normally resist its stab moves like steel types or fighting types, and it's great to just have the coverage. And then last, since we are kind of mixed, we're going to be using Sucker Punch as a priority move that will get obviously a boost from Claw Sharpen and also a stab boost. So it's a really great move to have if you have like a last ditch effort to take your opponent out, if your special attacking moves aren't cutting it. And the great thing about this set is that you can pretty much mask the fact that it's a Zoroark pretty well, because a lot of Pokemon learned Claw Sharpen, Focus Blast, Flamethrower, and Sucker Punch. So if you plan it out in a way such that you can, or that the Pokemon that Zoroark appears to be could also use one of these moves, it could be very surprising to your opponent if you see them, or if they find out later that you're actually not what you are. And that's a great advantage that you can gain on them by pretending to be something else that could use one of the attack moves that are in the set. Lastly, we have kind of a gimmicky set, but I like it a lot, so I'm going to put it out there anyways. So first we're going to give Zoroark a Timid Nature to increase its speed but lower its physical attack. And again, we're going to be using the ability Illusion. The EV spread, though, this time will be a little bit different from the previous ones, where we're going to be putting 252 EVs into HP to max out that stat, 4 for special attack to give you 1 more point into that, and then 252 EVs in your speed to give you your max speed possible. The item, though, this time is going to be Leftovers, because we're going to be making use of Confusion and Substitute in order to allow your opponent to not attack you and allow you to recover HP every turn that they can't hit you with Leftovers, or they break your sub instead of actually damaging yourself. But basically, the idea behind this is to first use Swagger in order to confuse your opponent and raise their physical attack. Now, this works especially well on special attackers since the physical attack boost won't really matter at all to them. But on a physical attacker, you do kind of need to worry because of the fact that Zoroark is fairly weak, and any boost to any move that would hurt it a lot would be not good to get hit by. But the great thing about Swagger is that in increasing their attack, you also increase the damage they take when they hit themselves in confusion, which we're hoping is going to happen. So that's why the next move in this set is going to be a Substitute, so that we can sub while they're hopefully hitting themselves in confusion, and then on the next turn, you're pretty much free to attack with whatever you want. The first move that we're going to be using is Trickery, which is a really awesome new dark move that takes your opponent's attack and hits them with that. So the fact that we're using Swagger to boost their physical attack not or adds to the fact that we're using Trickery, because they'll have higher attack than they normally would, and thus Trickery will do a lot more damage than using another move that would be a dark type move that Zoroark would be using in itself. So this actually allows Zoroark to be like a pseudo mix set, because it can attack physically but using your opponent's physical attack instead. And then lastly, we're going to make use of Flamethrower again, just because of the type coverage you get with it, because Trickery, or the dark type move, Trickery, won't work against steel types, fighting types, or other dark types that effectively. So Flamethrower is a nice way to get type coverage on those, as well as being able to deal super effective damage to things that Trickery can't hurt for super effective damage. So this is a pretty cool set that, if you get lucky with, can be very effective and allow you to do lots of damage to your opponent. And it will probably cause a lot of switches too, since they'll be taking a lot of damage from Swagger, and also they'll be taking a lot of damage from your Trickery as well. So this could be great if you have a lot of entry hazards set up, because your opponent will be hurt by them. And even if you don't have an attack boost, or even if you don't increase your opponent's physical attack with Swagger, Trickery can still be a pretty powerful move if you're up against a physical attacker. The only thing that I can see being really hurt, or that could really counter this set, would be something like a Starmie, because Starmie doesn't have high physical attack, so it really won't be boosted that much by Swagger. So Trickery really won't be that effective, and Flamethrower is obviously not very effective against a Starmie. So there are things that could get in the way of the set, but it's pretty cool to use. But that's it for Zoroark. This thing is completely awesome looking, and I love it to death. So I hope you guys do too. That's it though for this video. Sorry I'm narrating a little bit quieter than I usually do. My parents are asleep right now, so, or at least I'm home for break, so that's the deal. Normally I would be loud as I normally am, but not today. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, so take care and goodbye.